should be live.
All right, guys, let's get to it. Can you hear us and can you see us? Once again, going live on the road. We're dealing with a little bit of internet shit. So if you can hear us and see us, please let us know. We already see a lot of you guys already tuned in and chimed in over there in the comment column. Tonight we are live at the Still Horse Rally down here in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Absolutely amazing day, great weather, great rally, a really good turnout. The snows have done well this year down here at the Still Horse. Talked to them earlier today. They're excited and very happy. We wanted to give a big shout out to each and every one of you guys that have shown up down here, because that means a lot to us, because this is a local event. It means a lot to us from the bottom of our heart, because we do love our home. So,
Yes, so really quick, and just to kind of kick off, let you guys know that it does show that you guys may be receiving some buffering. That's going to be normal. We are on remote location, or whatever you want to call it. We're live at the Still Horse Rally in Fort Smith, so we are kind of working off of a hotspot. So buffering may be experienced, and I apologize. Just want to give you guys the heads up first.
part of going live, y'all. What's up, you Ornery asses? I see a lot of y'all over there with your badges. If you guys do see the badges after the name, that's because they are a Ornery ass, and that is our membership. So you're more than welcome to become an Ornery ass as well. We have 3 different levels, gives you different perks, let you be a little bit more involved with vaccines and helping us, actually. We appreciate each and every one of you Ornery asses, as well as all of our sponsors, Picture Harley Davidson, Mustang Seats, Custom Dynamic Lighting, Legend Suspension, KST Bar.
All right, so we have a green light. You guys can say, you guys are saying that you can see us. So you should be able to see and hear us now. Let's hope that this is the go.
We're always struggling, man. We're always struggling with it. It's a constant battle.
Never a dull moment. Yeah, got another error. Okay. Okay, we're gonna roll with it. We are also recording this, so if it is buffering and cutting in and out, we're recording it on our side and our screen. So afterwards, we'll upload the whole recording that you guys can actually watch when it's not actually streaming with buffering. And yeah, that's how we're going to do it. So, yeah. um, yeah, technology is not great. H Plymouth, that's right. It is always a struggle, especially when we're on the road and we're at different rallies and events. We can't depend on the internet within the service area or the service on our phones. So we did do a hotspot, and that has failed us twice now. So it is a learning curve. You guys are right there with us. You guys are in the learning process with us, and it sucks, and I hate it. But we are recording, like I said. I will upload the video afterwards so you guys can see the full video with Buck Shaw, who is going to be coming online here in about 20-30 minutes.
I'm telling you guys, this shit I just want to get in my bike and ride. You know what I mean? But here we are, and this is the struggle that we're against. Not really a struggle, but it does piss us off because we want to bring good content to you guys. It means a lot to us, and we really are trying. Please forgive us. We cannot control the interwebs.
That's right. It's a bummer. Especially, I noticed at the different events and stuff, the bigger the event, the more people, the more crowded the internet is, obviously. But even our hotspot, which is T-Mobile, we have service through Verizon, and then yeah, it just doesn't really matter which service you're with. It's just the internet's crowded. Don't
This
know what
is
to do about it.
true. All right. So we're going to get down to it. We are at Still Horse Rally, like I was saying earlier. And fortunately, with Arkansas enjoying it, like I said, the Snows have done a great job putting on the rally. Today is amazing, absolutely packed with bikes, and people are enjoying this amazing weather here in the Ozarks. Um, and then we're also talking tonight with Buck Shaw, that is putting on the Tennessee Music Motorcycle Revival. And that is over at Loretta Lynn's place in Tennessee. We'll be going over there in about a week and a half. We're going to be taking Maxwell House to Chopper, our old Chopper. We've got working with it right now at Pig Trail Harley Davidson, doing some things that need to be done to it. We'll be taking it over there and hanging out with folks. And trust me, when you show up over there, I do know some people that are going to be over there. You're going to be hanging out with people that out drink you and out ride you. A super cool venue. Now that I went by that place years ago, it's amazing. Of course, Loretta Lynn. What more do you need to say after that name? But her place is just stellar. And then you put this together, what Buck's been working really hard on. I don't know exactly, but somewhere 23, 24, something like that. Harley Davidson, um, just reps are coming together, which is
It's something
really
that hasn't
cool.
been done before, and so that's really neat that all these different Harley Davidson dealerships and facilities are going to be able to come together and yeah, join forces really, and it's going to be awesome. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
yeah, and what they're doing there is just cool as hell. Like I said, we haven't been there, so it's gonna be the first time we'll be putting out a video. We'll be going live there. We'll probably be struggling with the internet over there, but
Story of our life.
I know it just controls us a lot of times. We had trouble yesterday too, so it's really cool that Buck's going to be coming on here. Oh, Buck Shaw, be coming on here and he'll be able to tell us more details. We met him down at Daytona. We went down there this spring to Florida, of course, the Daytona Bike Week. Met him at Flying Piston banquet that they had. It was really cool what they were doing there. Got to meet Buck and Tanya there. And then we also seen him over there at Tropical Willie's Chopper Show, which is super badass. And I do want to give a shout out to Willie. He was in an accident, I don't know, maybe a month now. A drunk driver hit him, so our thoughts are with him as well. He's in the hospital. He doesn't have a GoFundMe, So if you guys want to go check that out, Steph will drop it in the link later. So, you know, if you got a little bit of something, it can sure help the dude out. I know he's in a situation right now that's he's just trying to get through it, as we all have those moments where we need a hand up. So here's to you, buddy. Hope you're doing all right. I know you're fighting a lot. So I have absolutely enjoyed our time down here in Fort Smith. If you've not been to this rally, definitely something you want to come check out. We've met a lot of folks out here that follow us and that we've met before. We went out a couple of hours earlier and ran into a bunch of folks. And 3 years ago, they took a picture of us at the Majestic over here at the bar. And we ran into them at the same spot earlier. So it was really cool. And his memories on Facebook actually popped up 3 years ago today. And he'd seen it. So he had to share that with us and hung out and bought us a few beers. So we seen a really cool band there as well, which I got her hat on right now.
Yeah, Broke White Band, and she's actually local here in Fort Smith. Never heard of her, never seen her. She said that they're fairly new. They sound great.
Oof.
They work the crowd. They play like the trendy, like happening songs that everyone loves, especially when you're a bar.
And then some older ones too that we
Yes.
all want to dance to.
Yes.
They put on a great show. If you go check her out, I'm actually going to try to see if we couldn't get her up at our rally there at Ride the Ozarks. It's going to be coming on this spring at home. So Ride the Ozarks, we're proud to be sponsored by them this year as well. Make sure we're going to be working hard with them. So we'll be talking more about them. Big shout out to Ride the Ozarks. They are the ones that send out the pamphlets. You can go visit their website. It has multiple rides in there. It tells you all the corners and how many miles and where the gas stations are and the places you're going to stop and see. Really good pamphlet full of good knowledge for us people that like to ride motorcycles. So we're going to be doing some more with them and showcasing home, which we love so much. And I mean Tennessee, which I do have family over in Tennessee. What can I say about Tennessee? It's
we haven't spent enough. We haven't spent a whole lot of time over there, so I'm looking forward to it.
Not on the bike.
Yeah,
we spent some time over there, but not on the motorcycle. But we've had some good experiences over there. So this couple of weeks, we're really getting ramped up and looking forward to it. Like I said, it'll be something that we've never experienced before this rally. Of course, they're going to have music, choppers, bikes, of course, but they're also going to have some art, which we absolutely love to see people creating something. If you don't know, Steph has the Elements of EOSO. They're on Etsy that she does her own creations. They're with her jewelry. She's done really good with that. And I do want to take a moment right here and just pause because I know we all know that tomorrow is Mother's Day, and I want to tell the biggest, coolest, badassest mother that I know sitting next to me right here. Happy Mother's Day, and super special. To all you mothers out there, happy Mother's Day.
Yes, happy Mother's Day. Yes. Speaking of Buckshaw, we do have him in the waiting room for our Zoom meeting, so I will add him to the Zoom meeting, which is then streaming online for you guys. So if you want to just kind of ramble a little bit, I'll go ahead and get him added and get it all set up.
A little ramble,
and
which
we'll
I'm really
get this all started.
So I want to, if I'm going to ramble, I want to talk about some stuff that I really love on our bike. We did get the Pro Beast by Custom Dynamic air horn on this week. And guys, holy shit, that thing is a train horn.
Hey, you guys hear me?
Hey, yeah, there he is already. Yeah.
Yes, can you hear us all right? Maybe not.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, Buck.
We can hear you.
I got you now.
Can you hear us now? Perfect.
5x5, baby. 5x5.
There it is, man. How are you, Buck?
I'm good, man. It's so cool to see you guys again. How are you?
We're doing really good. We're hanging out here at the store, the Still Horse Rally here in Fort Smith. Hanging out with a lot of people that are just super badass. Actually, a few of them are talking about what's going on over there in Tennessee, actually, this week. And the weather's amazing this year, as we did in Daytona, which that's where we met, was at the Flying Piston down there at Destination Daytona.
You know, there's this weird thing that happens, right? You meet somebody and immediately you've hanging together for centuries or generations, right? You kind of know.
Yeah, man.
So I was like, my wife's like, you got to meet these guys. They're super cool. They fit. And then I was like, yeah. So yeah, I dig what you guys are doing, man. Like, didn't you have some crazy TikTok blow up?
What the hell, man? So we were over in Eureka Springs doing a hog run, poker run, and we were at the sidebar at the Beaver Suspension Bridge. And Steph had started TikTok maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks prior to this, and I had no idea what TikTok was. Such I seen the kids listen to it, and I was like, oh, it's not my thing. So she's like, I'm going to start you an account. And at that time, we had 54 followers. And we just did a little video there, threw it up that evening around 5. As 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, it kept growing. When we woke up, it was 1 million views. And then now it's like 3 million views, and our following went up to, I don't know what it is right now. So, yeah, man, that was odd.
That's flipping cool, though. I saw it. It was a cool video, too, right? The guy thought his gal, his old lady, was going to get on the back, and then some big burly dude with a beard gets on. It was cool, man.
Yeah.
Probably couldn't plan that again if you tried, right?
Well, and that's it. You know, it's like those moments that you have, which Steph and I are always doing, but we try to capture them on the camera, but it takes a lot of, like, a little bit of a negotiation between the two of us to actually capture these moments. And that one just played out great. Everybody was in a great mood, and the little chick was fixing to get on his bike, and I just tapped her, and she just let me jump on there. And he was a good sport, which, you know, Buck, most of us that are out there running the roads, having a good time on the bikes, that's what we want to do, is enjoy each other, have a good time, and we just captured that moment. You know, it was just cool.
Yeah. No, I'm all about it. I'm just getting that point in life where I just don't have a lot of tolerance for drama or assholes. I kind of have a no asshole, no drama policy, and we've really stuck to that from the beginning of the event. Carrie and I, my partner, there have actually been some deals we walked away from because it might have been good financially, but it just wasn't that cultural fit and that vibe that we're looking for. And I really think if you stay true to that, it attracts more of the same, you know. And so I meet you, and then you introduce me to someone else, then you meet my homies, and it just kind of grows, you know. I love that.
Yeah, it's very, very neat. And really, like we were talking about this earlier, like the motorcycle community, it's so small, and like it's just full of some really great people. And every rally and event that we go to, we meet even better people and nicer people, and they're like out there, and there's like it
never
blows
stops.
our mind. Yeah, we're always meeting cool ass people.
But that's the deal, you know, Buck. You know, like as soon as we met you guys, and you're telling me what y'all are doing there, we had heard about it, but you broke it down and really got to talking about what you guys are doing, and it impressed me. And then we really got to looking into it, and hell, I knew a lot of people that are going. So, you know, I'm going to let you kind of break it down to let everyone know where it is and some just details that you want to put out there for folks.
Sure. Now I can go for hours, or I can go for 15 minutes. What are you looking for here?
Dude,
I don't want to.
Let her rip.
I don't want to suck up all the air in the room, bro.
No, let her rip, Buck.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you too before we start. The other thing that Tanya and man, I mean, like sometimes Stephanie or Tanya or whatever, you meet these people, right, and then you find that behind them is this woman who's just kind of a force of nature, right? And that's with my wife. Like, she can outwork me. She can outgrind me. She's a better judge. She's just... So she was very, very impressed that you called and kind of checked us out. Because there was some shady history with a promoter in Nashville before this event. And he hurt a lot of people. And she was more impressed that you didn't just go, oh, cool, you know, let's be a part of this. But you kind of called and said, hey, dude, how are you involved in this? And what is the history? And, you know, we don't have to go down that rabbit hole, or we can, but you know, the point is, to me, that speaks to who you are, and that you're not going to align yourselves with people who don't have that right cultural fit. So, and that really came from her. She's like, wow, I am so impressed that DJ and that they both cared enough to kind of say, hey, before we get together and connect with you, who are you guys? So that it was a good fit. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So, yeah. So we got a ton going on. You know, it's a Thursday through Sunday event. This will be our 4th year. Obviously, the zombie apocalypse took us out for a year. It started out small, you know, and it is an intimate event. The ranch itself, so the ranch is at the Loretta Lynn Ranch. It is Loretta's ranch. It's where she lived. And in 1964, 65, her career was blowing up. Her and Dew, her husband, rolled over this hill in a bus, in their tour bus, and she said, this is it. And they went and I guess bought the property the next day. And her husband, literally Dew, who's no longer with us, but just a man's man, a dude who could build anything and fix anything. He built this thing. I mean, it's beautiful. It's got a mountain ridge on one side and a creek down the other, an amphitheater that can hold about 5,000, 6,000 people, beautiful rolling hills. We've got, you asked about camping earlier, you know, when you and I were communicating, powered spots for about 350, everything from, you know, big coaches to little rigs. We've got 30 and 50 amp. We've sold all of those out, and those sold out pretty quickly this year, which was great. It's a good problem to have. But I really want people to know we have septic service and water service, and we could, you know, primitive camp or non-hookup. I don't like primitive camping because you're in your RV. It's not primitive necessarily, but we can accommodate a lot of RVs still. We have moto tents, which are these cool 16-foot canvas tents with beds in them, and they're glamping tents, so they're pretty nice. Those have gone crazy, and people can still get a few of those until Monday night at midnight. Tent camping, we can accommodate all the you know, the kindred spirits and the free guys who roll in with a bedroll and a tent. That's included in your pass. It's free. And when you guys see it, have you ever been to the ranch, TJ?
I've drove by it. I've never been to it, but I know when we drove by it years ago, it was like impressive from the road, seeing everything, but no. Have not. This will be our first time.
I think there's a few things that happen there. One is, you know, it's a beautiful physical venue. But I think there's more there. I think that, you know, part of the DNA of motocross, the Amateur National Motocross Championships have been there for, I think, 36 years. So any moto stud, any Ricky Carmichael, or any guy you're watching out there who's a pro, cut his teeth on that ranch and at that track. Any kid who's a real motocross kid ends up there. And so it's got this DNA of moto in it, and then on top of that, it's Loretta, who is the most, just one of the most deep, spiritual, kind, amazing, ballsy, creative, gutsy women I've ever met in my life. And I love Loretta. I've come to, like, I literally, and I didn't get to, normally I get to see her 3 or 4 times a year and hang out with her. I did not get to do that this year. But it all comes from her. She was talking to Taylor, her granddaughter, a week ago, and she said, Taylor, just be good to people. That's all God wants. And I'm like, that's it. That's our business philosophy. Just be good to people. That's all it is. So it has this vibe. Go ahead.
Is she the one that is on your Instagram quite a bit? I haven't met her, but that is her granddaughter. Okay.
And she'll be MC. She'll co-MC with Jay Allen. Jay's an icon, but Taylor is a hoot, man. She sings, and she's a great singer, but she's also just a character. And yeah, but they all get hospitality, from the ranch hands to the kid Anthony Bruto, the grandson who runs the ranch. You'll meet him, man. These guys are just amazing. There's nothing they can't fix and nothing we can't make happen out there.
I love it. So
they're a pleasure to deal with.
They're heavily involved in everything, like you were saying from the get-go.
They are equity partners in this. So when before that con man came and burned a bunch of people, we tried to do this about 10 years ago, and we came very close. You know, we had the family and us, and we couldn't make the right deal. So once that guy created this problem, a lot of people got hurt. Knew it would be tough to overcome that reputation that guy created, and it won. Tremendous interest in the region, amazing roads, and some of the best music in the world. So we went back, and the deal we made was we are equal partners, and none of us make a penny until we're profitable. We hope that we get profitable this year. You know, and it's not easy to throw a party for 10,000 people. People don't really realize what goes into it. But yeah, so you have an idea. But at any rate, she is literally our business partner, and we rely on her for guidance and for creative inspiration and to set the tone, and she does, and it trickles down.
Well, that says a lot, you know, and just to be around somebody like that's going to be an amazing experience itself. And that is, like you said, Buck, Steph and I have really worked hard to be around people that motivate us and keep us in the right track. And it's so easy to get off track. And like Steph was saying, the moto world is small. I mean, we all will meet each other. And this is going to be a great opportunity to meet a lot of people there at this place. Like I said.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you know, so one of the things, the other foundational things of this was involvement of Bill Dodge, who was a guy who owns Bling Cycles, arguably one of the godfathers of custom bikes, you know. And just, he does a show called the BC Moto where he invites, we have Loretta's old horse barn, so 36 stalls in an old wooden barn. We clean it out, we put a bike in each stall. So he invites 36 builders. And I'm telling you, man, I've been to a lot of bike shows. I've been to most of them, and I love them all. You know, this invitational is as good as anything you'll ever see. And every one of these cats is a guy you want to meet and hang out with, who will share knowledge with you, talk to you about how he welds or how he tuned the carb or whatever it is he did. You know, how he rebuilt the spring or whatever. They're super cool cats to hang with. And Bill was insistent from the beginning, like, there's no winner. This is not a traditional, like, winning show. It's more of a invitational experience, and that thing has become the bedrock. And every one of those guys I meet turns out to just be that kind of person we were talking about in the very beginning. You know, so we'll have 2 other bike shows, or actually 3 other shows. Jeff Holt will do the V-Twin Visionary. So if you like the performance dynas and the performance baggers, and Jeff's shows are really tight and really well done. I'm sure you know Jeff.
Oh yeah.
Then we got Bikers Who Care. That's a local entity, and so that'll bring in a lot of the local guys. They deal with a lot of the soldiers over in Fort Campbell, which is 45 minutes from us. So a lot of the local bikes. And then Thursday, we've got an antique guy coming in. So I'm stoked because I really love the old bikes. And so the bike shows really just from Thursday through Sunday will be pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, man. Like you just named over a bunch of people out there that do great in the moto world. And we've met a few of them, and I'm always impressed when I walk away from them. And I can't wait to see how you guys got that set up. Like I said, we haven't been there. So this is going to be our first experience. So we're just going to try. Hopefully everything works good with internet. We're able to do everything because we want to go live with everybody, showing you guys our first-hand experience at the place. So now we're talking about motorcycle stuff, but that ain't all you got going on, Buck. You got some badass music playing.
Yeah, and so look, what we've tried to do from the beginning is not, it's kind of risky, right? Because you'd be real safe to get an AC/DC cover band. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? I dig that. Or a Journey band, or you know, the band that does the 80s generational stuff. I love those guys. But what we're trying to do is authentic emerging artists from the region, of which there is a plethora. And you know, if you've been to Nashville or Memphis, it's ridiculous. It's like if you were wanting to be an actor, you'd go to LA, right? You want to be a singer-songwriter, you go to Nash. It's just, that's where you go. So the talent there is super deep. So we're looking for that guy that's starting to have some success and is probably on the verge of blowing up. And then we always try to have one anchor. You know, we've had Yellow Wolf out there, who was an interesting guy. We've had Ben Haggard, Merle's son, Whiskey Myers, Steel Woods, just bands that personally I freaking love. You know, it's more than anything I'd ever hear on the radio. But this year, we've got a pretty killer lineup. We're stoked. Billy F. Gibbons, half of ZZ Top, arguably, you know, one of the most iconic guitar players ever, will be on Saturday night. I don't know if you know Tim Montana, but Tim's a guy who's starting to make some noise. He's a kind of an outlaw country guy. He plays with Billy, and he's written with Billy, and he's written with Kid Rock, and he's a hustler, man. And he'll be. Do you know Tim?
Well, so you guys posted, and I went and listened to some of his music, and I've been listening to it now. So I didn't know until now, but it was really cool because here in Fort Smith, we got a place down here called the Majestic, and they bring in music. He's actually playing here in just a little while.
Yeah, I think it's like middle of June he's going to be playing here.
And as soon as I seen his picture, I was like, no shit. So
super cool.
Yeah, you got to go see him. Here's the thing about Tim, too. Tim will play an original, and then he might play it. If he plays a cover, it'll be something old and cool. But then he'll cover like California Love or a Tupac song.
Yeah,
right?
man.
I mean, you just never know what that guy's going to do. But he does it his way, and he's a nut job. He one year he decided we were going to have a wrestling match down at the Creekside Bar at about 2 a.m, and I tried to explain to him that I'm a wrestling coach and that I've done jiu-jitsu and wrestling most of my life, and I didn't want to wrestle. And he kind of made me, and so we kind of had a little throwdown there on the rocks. It was pretty epic. But Tim's he's a great guy. And he's fun, and he puts on an amazing show.
Well,
and then before him,
dude, I can't wait to see him. And then y'all got another. How many do y'all have? Do you know offhand? How many bands all together?
Yeah, I can pull up the schedule. So the Kid Friday night is a guy named Rob Linus, who I think is unbelievable. He was opening for Whiskey Myers last year, just starting to really get some things happening before the COVID hit, and starting to really make some thunder. And he's Friday night. Let me pull it up so I don't miss anybody. We have a guy named Tyler J on Thursday night, who's that same kind of guy. Tyler is he was a combat vet, Marine, and he had all these, if you go online, you'll find all these old barracks videos of him singing these crazy songs with a guitar. But he came out to Nashville, got with a producer friend of ours who's very involved, a guy named Donnie Reese, amazing producer, has a studio, 12-3 South Productions. Donnie's now working with him, and they've dropped a few of the first songs. And to me, Tyler's a guy who could be a Merle Haggard or a Waylon Jennings. He's a 1970s outlaw country guy, and he's the real deal. He's Thursday night. We have Sweet Tea Trio, which is these 3 gals who are a Kid Rock project. They blew everyone's minds last year. They were incredible. A rock band that I love called the True Villains, who are just going to punch you in the jaw with their music. And, I always give credit to guys who are trying to play rock and roll now, because it's not an easy thing to do in this modern environment. But, the music lineup is crazy. And then all day long, guys, all day from like 11 in the morning till 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, there will be singer-songwriters down at the Creekside Bar telling their stories, doing, really cool, intimate performances. And then after the big show winds up, typically, historically, everybody's gone down to this big bonfire at the creek. We have a bar down there, and that'll go till people tap out. Sometimes that goes till 3 in the morning. We've had some Bigfoot sightings down there. We've had some more roasts down there. It's pretty cool, man.
Awesome.
So the Creekside Bar, you got to check out. That's something.
So,
but the singer-songwriters are awesome.
So, Buck, how many bars are there that y'all have set up during the rally?
Yeah, so we'll have the main pavilion, which will be like from 5 o'clock till midnight, with the main music, has 2 huge bars in it. And then we'll have a couple VIP setups and some other stuff. But then we have a bar we call the Speed Shack. We'll talk about racing a little, but we're doing legit flat track racing this year. We've always done like what I call it hillbilly flat track or hillbilly hooligan. Yeah. It was racing, but it was kind of like, we dragged a fence, chain link fence piece around and got this motocross infield as good as we could. And we had fun and we got after it. It was fun because people could race mini bikes. So we had sidecar races and costume stuff. And we still were going to do that during the early part of the day. But with Harley Davidson coming on and Harley Davidson surrounding dealers, we got 21 dealers involved in this, which I think is pretty historically epic. I don't know that that's happened before. We have real flat track. So we hired a guy named Kelly Inman. He's done X Games. He's done Red Bull. He is building a professional track. I saw it on video today. It looks beautiful. And his thing is, it's got to be safe for the professional hooligan guys, and it's got to not feel like a pop-up track. So he is going all out to make this track really good for the pros. And they're going to throw down, man. I know we have Bumpus, Boswell, Appleton, Harley, and I think not just Trace all have fairly serious 2 or 3 or 4 team hooligan guys, and I know at least that they're going to throw down. I'd love to see who's the baddest Harley dealership, when it comes to racing. We'll create a roving trophy that'll go year to year, and let it take its life.
Dude, I love all this. I mean, it's a one-stop shop is what you're talking about. I mean, this is, so we go to Sturgis. We love Sturgis and hanging out up there. But, we have to travel around and kind of hit these different spots and see different venues. But basically what you guys have got set on, like I said, it's a one-stop shop. You're there and you got, I know y'all posted you got golf carts you can rent.
We got carts for rent. I think you could rent those till the middle of next week. Those probably will sell out. So and listen, I get it. It's a motorcycle ride. Like that. Here's the thing, man. When you're there, and you want to stay on the property. You don't want to have to go to a hotel and come back. You want to stay out. I have friends who came out the first couple of years, and they're like, they ended up crashing in my cabin. So they're all sleeping on my couch, my floor. But like, you're out there having a great time. You're not going to leave at 11:30 and drive back to Nashville. It's a horrible idea. You want to stay out there. So you're drinking, you're partying. There's nothing wrong with getting a golf cart, 4 or 5 of your friends. It's the Uber of the ranch, right? You can just safely get back from your adult beverage. So golf carts are available.
Absolutely.
The other thing you guys asked too that's really important to me. So when this whole thing started, a guy who was kind of consulting us, who's a good guy in the industry, and he said, "Man, you should make this kid friendly. It should be a family-friendly rally." And I was like, "That is a horrible idea, man. There's nothing I think is weirder than when I go to Sturgis and I see a baby carriage, rolling down next to a lady who's topless with her boobs." But I was wrong. I was totally wrong, because what's happened is the builders have brought their kids, and the racers have brought their kids, and the community has brought their kids. The kids should be there during the day, and they are. And at nighttime, these people know how to manage their kids. Like, we're not going to have kids in the bars. At nighttime, we're going to race some hell and have some fun. Yeah. And we haven't had an issue yet. It's very evident that people who bring their kids, this is their culture and their lifestyle, and their kids have been raised appropriately.
Yeah, man. But that says it all. I mean, like, we got 5. We got 4 girls and a boy. And, for example, a few years ago, we took them down to New Orleans. We took them down Bourbon Street. And we showed them what was up. We want to teach them.
But not at midnight.
No.
Like, you're like,
but we took
on the same page as you as it goes,
I think it's very important, just like the kids, though. They know us, and they see this culture, and I want to raise them right. So when they get out in the world, they're just not idiots. So I think it's very important, and that's where the coolness comes from. Like today, met a kid. He's 20 years old. He built a little chopper. He follows us, and he was so excited, and he built a badass little chopper. And he knew absolutely the ins and outs of that bike, and he wanted to tell me, and the culture lives on. And it's so important to us because we're getting older. And I definitely want this shit to carry on. It means so much to us in our life, in our lifestyle.
Well, it's really interesting that you say that, TJ, because I had this total epiphany that hit me like a punch in the jaw, where I was watching these kids talk to Rhett Rotten, who did the Wall of Death. And like, he was explaining 1920 era's bikes, and I'm like, you know what? If these kids don't learn about flatheads and pans and knuckles and how you fix a bike when you didn't have the internet to teach you how to do it, that you had to learn how to do this shit. And when you rode a bike across the United States, it broke and you had to fix it. Anyway, the whole culture. If these kids don't learn this shit dies in a generation or two. It's gone. It'll go away. And so I like when I'm wrong, and I was totally wrong. We need kids and family to be comfortable to come to this during the day. We want the locals to come out and have their kids see the racing and meet these guys and meet people like you. I mean, I got to tell you guys, so my 16-year-old kid's going to come out, and I really want him to have the experience, and I want him to meet you, and I want him to meet Brian Helm, the photographer, and Michael Lichter, and I want him to realize that in this modern world, you can make a life and a living in a non-traditional way, and it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. It's really about freedom and so I really want him to kind of learn about. I mean, they're kids. They know social media. They understand, but they don't really get what it takes to live and make this work. Yep. And so I think that'd be super cool. That sharing that is important to me.
Yeah, man. I mean, it tickles us pink to see them kids out there, and every chance we get to just connect with that younger generation, we're all about it. And honestly, every time I'm around the little shits, they teach me something. Like, I go away like, the kid today, I walked away like, damn, he gave me inspiration. Like, I was sitting there talking about a shovel that I'm wanting to build, and he was like, dude, I might know where some of them parts are and this and that. And I was like, oh my God. You know, I was just like, I got all excited and I hugged him. And I was like, oh, I needed this because it gives you that gust that we need, you know, because, yeah, you know, we've been out, we've traveled, we've seen this and that and other. And to show the younger generation something and then they show you something back, it shocks the shit out of you. And you know how hard it is when you're younger. You know, we remember when it was really young. And now with all the social media and the shit that's going on nowadays, they need this culture. They need it.
How old are your kids?
Okay, so we just had our youngest turn 17 last week. And they go 17. Wow. You're going to help me on this one.
Yeah, 17, 18, 19, 22, and 23.
24.
24?
Yep.
Damn, you guys were busy for a stretch.
Yeah. We just had our oldest graduate college yesterday, the first one, so we ran over there. So yeah, it means a lot to us, and like they absolutely love motorcycles. The boy is the reason why I ride a motorcycle, because when his mama and I got divorced, me and him were together a lot, and we watched Nitro Circus. So I got him a little dirt bike. I got a dirt bike. And then he was wanting a chopper, so we built him a little chopper. And then I got an old Suzuki and built a little chopper. So he is the reason we exist. And, you know, it's like you were saying, family means so much. And then when you get out here in this culture, our family grows because we meet you guys. And, you know, it just...
Right.
And where do you live, Buck? Where are you at right now?
Oh, I'm in Northern California. Folsom, kind of foothills of the Sierras.
Okay.
We're looking though. And now you guys, and I should know, but are you in Texas? Is Texas home?
Okay,
Arkansas.
So we are in the Ozarks.
Arkansas.
Yeah, so we're up there. So if people have heard of Branson, Missouri, which I hear a lot, we're like 35, 45 minutes south of that. So we're in the Ozarks. So Eureka Springs, Fayetteville. And we have some amazing riding over here as well. So that's home. We're like centrally located, which works amazing. And then, you know, it's just really cool because you're over there on the West Coast, which we have tons of friends over there. And we all have something to show each other. You know, we have a little different take on stuff, which I always love that. Getting around you guys and seeing how y'all are going about things, and then us old hillbillies. And then the East Coast too, you know, they've got their own way. It's not that far apart, but we all have a little different take on stuff.
Well, it's always interesting to me, TJ, that you know, there's this perception of how things are, and when you get there, the reality is almost always different. You know, the politics of California are pretty nutty sometimes, but most of us don't care. You know, cannabis was illegal here for 60 years. Guess what? That got turned. We outlasted them. You know, yeah, we have nutty gun laws, but many of us have guns, and we have ridiculous politics and tough business environment. Many of us choose to work here and live here anyway because it's an amazing place.
Oh my
I can
God.
ski in an hour. I can be in the ocean in 2 hours. I can go to wine. I mean,
I know,
but
man.
Sometimes I do look around and go, wow, it's a hard place to be, you know, in business.
Well, what we got out of it is just like you said, the weather. I mean, within hours, you need a coat, chaps, everything on, and then you can ride, and then you're stripping everything off. And it's neat to do that because around here you can't do that. And the landscape can change out there just like that, which is so cool.
Yeah, riding the Sierras and then riding the high desert, riding the coastline up north. There's some pretty epic riding. But I will tell you, TJ and Steph, we kind of feel like adopted Southerners. And again, the perception, right? Everybody in the biker world are these backwards, you know, illiterate, racist. I'm like, you know what? I just haven't met those people, and I've met hundreds of thousands of people. My experience is most people want the same things. We want, you know, good opportunity economically. We want good schools for our kids. We want safe communities. We want to love each other. That's it. And so when I went to the South and I met these people, and I'm like, wow, these are the friendliest, most hospitable, smart, business-oriented people who work their asses off. I was like, I want to be here. So we're looking at the Smoky Mountain area. We're looking at little bits of Kentucky. I haven't been to Arkansas, but I want to look around. I want to find something out there where we can.
I'll tell you what.
Have a little dirt, be able to shoot a rifle and ride a side by side in a dirt bike out in the backyard.
Well, I'll tell you
that
what,
appeals to me.
Buck, you guys get out here. We'll show you around home, and it will be on the top of your list. We have a lot of people when they come here, they don't leave. But it's kind of
well. I did watch the show on. I did watch the show on Netflix. So
God,
I've seen the lake at least.
Oh, and
yeah, it's
yeah, and that show I love that show, and the hillbillies that are on there.
Great show.
We get a kick out of it because they do remind us of our, how we were raised,
of some family that we have.
So it isn't quite like that, but we really do get a kick out of it. But it's an amazing place. When you guys get out here, we're going to show you around. I know it will happen. You guys will love it. I know Steph and I.
Well,
go ahead, Buck.
Well, you're going to have to get out to NorCal, and we'll have to get out to the Ozarks.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
We like to wake surf and wakeboard. That's kind of a family thing we do, and it's just fun, and the riding here is ridiculous. And then I've never been. I've got a couple buddies who are in Arkansas, Hot Springs.
That's just south. We're close to Hot Springs where we're sitting now. We're in Fort Smith, so we're pretty close to Hot Springs as we sit. Yep.
Yeah. So listen, here's my experience. Everybody I've met, and Tanya we did a trip out to Nashville, went to the ranch, set up some logistic stuff, met with our whole team, and then our idea was to go visit as many Harley dealerships as we could in 2 days. Yeah. And my wife's like, so we worked like a 15-hour day the first day, and I'm like, cool, we'll get a little rest, get up and have some coffee, and drive to Alabama in the morning. She's like, bro, we ain't sleeping anywhere. We're going to Alabama right now. So we literally drove. Yeah, dude, she's a grinder. She's a badass. I could barely keep up with her. But we did about 1,800 miles in 2.5 days, visited 11 dealerships. And, man, what a fine group of people, Every place was different. Everybody had a different focus. Some of them were into racing. Some were into scrambling in the woods. Some of them were into man, I'm really excited. I don't want to go off track, but this new Pan America.
Dude, all right, so our dealership, we're teamed up with Picture Harley Davidson here in Rogers up here, and they just got a couple in.
Okay.
I got to check them out. I'm excited.
So do you know who Danger Dan is? He's a guy out of Texas. He rides shovelhead.
That guy is so annoying. Hell yes, I know who
Little
he is.
Tip Top Texas.
Yeah, because they just rode Mexico with Knives by Nick.
They did the El Diablo.
Yeah.
Nick the Knife and all those guys.
Yeah, so I messaged him, and I was getting my I've never had a passport, and we went and did it, but it didn't. I don't have it yet. We're still waiting. So I asked him, I was like, dude, are you going on a run? Because I was just going to go. Steph had stuff to do, and I was just going to go and just meet up with him. Well, I texted him, and he's like, dude, we're not really on the run. We're going to meet with him. But he told me these stories that they got into, and it's like shit out of a movie. And but I did talk to him when we were down there at Willie's Tropical Tattoos down at the show. And I think what you were going to say is he getting one?
Well, I don't want to blow his deal, but yeah, I think so. Here's the other thing about Dan. So Dan, and then there's another guy, Jason Elam, and Jason was helping us with the track and the racing. But they've started this tradition where they go out and race their shovelhead choppers on the dirt track. They've done it every year, and like every year it gets salty. I mean, they're bar to bar, just banging. I love those guys. But yeah, Dan, I guess evidently BMW must be pretty smart because before this bike came out, they gave him a GS 1250R, which I think is the flagship of the Denture bikes, and they let him go out and beat on it last year or something, and they're sure it's our bike before he goes and does the Harley thing.
Yep.
So I think now he's going to do something with the Harley, and he's a loyalist, but from what I'm seeing, bro, they nailed it. First of all, I give him credit for doing it because it's a gutsy thing to do. New motor, totally different rider group. They think it's a different rider group, but I guarantee you, you'll ride it. I'll ride it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not such a... I think the thing looks badass. And any bike that you can rip down the road and then hop off on a fire trail and go do, 100 miles in the dirt, That sounds pretty freaking epic to me.
Yeah, and I mean, they got adjustable timing on that, what I heard, and then the ride is adjustable. The higher dollar one, I can't remember the price point on that one, but it adjusts when you stop. And the price point alone, I think there's two different ones, but I thought it was going to be more than what they put out there. I think they did good on that, so that's going to appeal to a lot of people.
Well, look, they nailed the horsepower. It's in at 155 and it's water cooled. It's going to be very durable. I know that doesn't fit the traditional air cooled V thing, but it's still a V and it's still a Harley. And the main thing is, I think they nailed it. I mean, you look at the weight, the size, the power, the price point at 17 or 18 grand for the entry, and the other one will be in 2021. Right. Anyway, I can't wait to rip that thing. And the race. I'm super excited about the racing. The beauty of the ranch, and you'll see it when you get there. The sky's the limit, man. We're going to eventually do scrambles or time trials. I think we can do dirt drags. We've got a little hill. We can do a hill climb eventually.
Oh,
we're going to do it. One thing my partner Carrie Rep has really taught me, like, she's really good operationally and creatively. And I like big ideas and I like big creative things. And sometimes she's like, yo, homie, like you gotta execute now. So we build this thing and we grow it each year, but you don't try to do all the racing in 1 year. So, there's a strategy on the next 3 or 4 years on this. And with Harley's involvement and then getting more racing involved, I love performance. I think performance should drive style to some degree in motorcycles. And I think the two can coexist in a really beautiful place between bikes that look really bitchin' and excite you and bikes that you can just ride the piss out of without, breaking them. Or if you break them, they can be fixed. And so, anyway, that stuff excites me. So I'm stoked at the future of this thing. Like, I'll take you out to the back of this property. There's a 1,000-acre field that you could do anything in. I mean, it's unlimited. It's a 4,500-acre ranch. So it's... Yeah, sorry, I get excited.
No. I'm really excited. Like, I've been telling everybody, like, this whole weekend, people come up and talk to me, and then we're like 2 minutes in the conversation. I was like, listen, you got to hear what we're fixing to do. And, I do want to tell you this, Buck. So we're bringing our old van over. It's got 330-something thousand miles on it. And we got this enclosed trailer basically gave to us. And we're bringing our chopper, which is Maxwell House. It has bits and pieces of my grandpa's stuff on it, and I actually just got the clutch handle done. It's a hip replacement joint. My buddy's dad incinerated people, and he got bits and pieces, and so he gave me one. It's a hip replacement joint, and I made it into my clutch handle. So that kind of gives you an idea. But this is going to be like the first really like debut of Maxwell House, and it, people know it fairly good. And we've never taken it out of the Ozarks, so we're bringing it over, and gonna get to show Dan it and Nick and other ones that have seen it, and of course we're always on the road glide, but you know how we ride. We just ride everywhere, just mile after mile, and so I always see them on their chopper, and I'm like telling them about Maxwell House. Like, yeah, we've seen the pictures. We're gonna ride it. So this is gonna be the first time I get to show those dudes. My little chopper that we did, and it's exciting, it doesn't matter.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah, man.
You actually have human beings parts in your motorcycle.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's badass, dude. It makes a great clutch handle. And then I've got some bits and pieces of all over that thing of my grandparents that I saved. I've lost my grandpas, and they mean a lot to me. But they, in a corny way, they ride with me everywhere because I have stuff that I kept from them and made it into bits and pieces on the bike. So anyway, it's just cool.
Well, two things you could do. One is you ought to think about putting into that Bikers Who Care show because that's got a lot of diversity in it. And the other thing, you come out and race that thing on the dirt. We'll do a run what you brung. And like I love people getting out of there with their baggers, their choppers, and
I love it.
Pitching around in the dirt. Mini bikes for the kids. I hope we have electric bikes for the kids so we can do an electric class.
That'd be cool.
I don't know about those provisions yet, how many of those we'll have. But we will have at least 7 or 8 mini bikes, and anybody who signs a release can come out and race those. So we had people from my world who are music people, not motorcycle people, And they were like, two things. They're like, oh my God, these are the friendliest people I've ever met in my life. And I'm like, yeah, it's not Sons of Anarchy, okay? It's, like, these are real people. And then, so they were blown away by how friendly whatever was, and they were the craziest people on the track. Like, once we got these guys on mini bikes and little dirt bikes, we couldn't get them off the track. Yeah, and then I think half of them now, have become motorcycle riders. So, did you honest question, did you hesitate at all? So my kid's 16, great kid, a little aggressive, in how he does things. I do worry, he's had a dirt bike since he's a little guy. He's now starting to want, to have one of those bikes in the garage. Mm-hmm. Did you hesitate at all? I mean, did you worry at all about the texting people? And then, I mean, it's not him driving, it's the people. Where'd you guys land on that? Obviously, the freedom outweighed the risk.
Well, so Kindred, the boy, he just turned 18, and we've kept him on dirt bikes this whole time, side by sides and all this.
Right.
And honestly, we just took him to pig trail, and he's been looking at street bikes. So to be on the street and really rode, he has not yet. And he's just fixing to graduate. He'll graduate this next Sunday. And he's wanting to ride with us. And I've kind of pushed it back a little bit. I didn't push him. I'll just say that. Because he means so much to us. And in my heart of hearts, I'm fucking
You never forgive yourself.
No. So I don't want to push him. So he's in it. He's like, Dad, I want to ride with you. So now we're looking at bikes. I'm talking to him. We're going over things in the truck when we're riding around. I'm talking to him about shit. Not only that, but motorcycle culture. How to react to people in a bar. How to respond to people. How to just be a laid-back, cool person that isn't macho or trying to prove a point, because that'll get you hurt on a bike quicker than anything, trying to prove a point. And then, people on their damn phones. It's the most dangerous thing.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Oh, I don't know, man. We're in the same boat right there.
Steph, where are you at? Because I know your mama bear. And I get it. I want him to have those experiences I had. And he's only 16, so I'm like, maybe a little more maturity before I.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, there's a scare, especially because I'm on the back of the bike. I see so many people, there's a huge incline as far as how many people are on their cell phones going down the interstate. And I'm not talking just cars. There's truckers that are on their cell phones. You can clearly see it. It worries me. It does. It's
yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you just have to teach your kid or your rider, whoever it is, not just how to, ride and watch the road, but you have to really read your surroundings and pay attention to other people so much more than before. It's different now.
Yeah, and you always have to leave yourself with an out, trying to get out of situations. That's what I'm trying to teach him.
For sure.
And you can almost feel that car in front of you, that. You can tell, that asshole's not paying attention. He's already, it's being aware of your surroundings. And then having that old bike running good is a big deal, because we use a lot of throttle instead of brake. And that throttle gets out and around stuff before that brake will. So I might shoot over across the white line and shoot around them real quick. So I don't know, man. We've talked about this a lot, and it's on my mind because the boys fixing to start riding. So it's
and you're not going to be able to stop that at some point, right? So I think you got the right idea. Be aggressive and defensive and aware. But I trip on it a little bit because part of me wants him to have that experience now.
I do too.
That I had growing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
I had
the
boy crotch rocket in high school. That was amazing.
Yeah, the boy, he's ready to go to rallies, he's 18. He almost came over here to this one, and we do go out and hang out a lot. But I think he knows that he's just going to dive into it hard. I know he will. And then another thing, we want to set him up with the right bike. So he's been setting on bikes, filming the bike, and of course you're talking about price range for a younger kid, and going over what he likes and doesn't like, and which that excites the hell out of me, because what he will do to a bike may be kind of along the lines of what I'll do, but it'll be different. And I want to see what he does.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we've been doing the same thing, you know, looking at sporties, looking at even that Street 750 is probably a good starter bike for somebody at a reasonable price point. Or, I mean, I grew up, I always love when people get snotty about only riding an American V-twin. I'm like, really? Because I don't think that's what many of us rode when we were 15 years old.
No.
I don't know about you, but, you know, I had a GPZ and a Ninja and all kinds of crazy bikes.
Dude.
And I learned a lot on those.
No, man, I had
fast bikes.
I had an 850 Suzuki GLS or something we chopped. And then I had my favorite little bike was a 600. It was a Honda Shadow, the little 600 monoshock. It was just a little bike, but dude, I stripped it down and rode it like a little dirt bike. I mean, rode that shit. Never did do nothing to it but beat it, and had so much fun on that. We got her a little 400 Yamaha that we got it for $100 in the kickstand. The little module down there was out, and I bypassed it, and the damn thing started right up, and she started riding it, and stripped it, you know. So the cheap bikes are the funnest bike, because if something goes wrong with them, you kick them over in the ditch, set them afire, and walk away and go do something else. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, there's a learning curve, right? I mean, it is amazing that you go out and buy a bike off the floor now and go 200 miles an hour, right? So, you know, it's okay to learn how to ride.
Yes.
Definitely.
And ride something that doesn't have brakes very well, doesn't run very well. It makes you respect a lot of shit. And then you have to figure that out yourself. Then when you get on a bike that does, and like a lot of people give a shit about the M8 or this and that and other, I'm like, shit. The stuff that I've rode, I don't care. You can talk shit about all you want. It's amazing. Because we jump on that thing, me and her, it's dependable, and we can run from coast to coast on that thing 100 miles an hour. Which, there's nothing like those shovels and knuckles and all that stuff. But, you know, you have to be dedicated to that stuff, because the people out on these roads are running so fast nowadays and stopping so quick and all that stuff. Those old bikes, you really got to be watching, because they don't stop as quick. They're not as, you know, throttly. So it's a different world.
No, it is. Rhett built it's a 45-inch flathead, 1942. Anyway, you know, it's fun. Suicide shit. It has no brakes. Like, it's almost like Yabba Dabba Doo Flintstone stuff. You know, you feel like you got to put your feet down. And it definitely teaches you to ride differently. Like, riding that thing around, I was like, man, I got to kind of plan things.
Yeah, man.
Plan when I'm going to stop.
No shit, dude.
But it's cool. Hey,
go ahead, Buck.
Well, I want to make sure, too. So, Rhett has done our wall of death the last couple of years. He had a real conflict this year, and I am so stoked that the Ives brothers stepped in, and they're going to do our wall of death this year. And first of all, they kind of saved our ass, because they filled in when this all went down with short notice. And so Ives brothers will do the wall of death. They'll be doing shows every day, all day, and those guys are awesome. So I'm excited to get to know them better and have them at the event and add another wrinkle of personality to it, and that's pretty cool. So I wanted to make sure I gave them some love, because they really have been good to us.
Absolutely, yeah. I've seen both, all great people, and they get the crowd involved, which I absolutely love. Everything that we do, when people can get the crowd involved and ramped up, I love it. You know, and they're showmen, and it's not just riding motorcycles. They're a true showman, and it shows when they're doing their performance. I love it.
Well, I always love, you'll see a kid on the rail. You know, there's always some kid up there, and it's like they're watching freaking Superman. Their eyes are, you know, and that's that moment where I'm like, there you go. That's what it's about. So it's cool. Or when you see the little Groms racing with their, so there was one point, like 2 years ago, I looked out on the track, and we had, you know, a dad, probably mid-20s kid, and a teen, all just getting after it, racing each other. And I was like, that's 3 generations, or, you know, 3 family members in the same family. That's freaking cool, man.
So, dude, I've been saying this a lot, because we talk about girl riders and dudes riding and this generation. Honestly, when it comes down to it, we're all throttle